What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So for this horror news update, we have a few stories we're going to cover off on. As you see on the screen, we're going to be talking about Whalefall. Haven't heard about this, but we're going to be talking about it. We also have a new clip, or the first clip from a film called Strange Harvest that we're going to take a look at. And I figured, why not just watch the trailer as well, because there was apparently an official trailer released for this film. And then subsequently, soon after that, they released a clip. So I imagine the clip is an extension of a scene within the trailer. We're going to find out, so we'll cover off on that as well. And also, we have news that John Krasinski is going to be returning to a franchise. So we're going to talk about that as well. So let's get into it. Hopefully, this will be a somewhat short video. So Whalefall, survival movie about a dude trapped inside a whale, hits theaters in October 2026. So we've talked about this year a couple of times when we did some trailer reviews. There's been an abundance, I feel, of more animal driven horror films. We've seen various films using like rage virus or zombie type dogs, or we've also seen an abundance of shark type films, whether international or domestic driven. I'm wondering, and I did wonder, if the shark film pickup was part of the whole Jaws anniversary thing that has been taking place over the last several months. Could be, but again, I've seen an uptick in films based on, whether it's animals attacking humans or animals somehow involved in some level of the horror film itself. So again, as you see here, we're going to see what Whalefall is going to be about. Again, it's not due, as I mentioned already, as you see, for October 2026. So we are well over a year away before this even comes out. So interesting. I'd imagine this is I don't know if this is just the cover art for the poster. We'll have to go down and see below if they even have a poster. I'm not sure. I'd imagine this is probably going to be based off a novel, just based on the name itself, because something like this, I don't know if I would typically think or imagine someone coming up with an original idea of this headline story leading me into a type of horror survival film. So let's get into it. Armed with one of the wildest premises in recent years, Daniel Krauss, novel. I mean, right there, and we're not even past the first sentence yet, and it's already confirmed it's a novel. Okay, Whalefall is being turned into a big screen experience that's filming now, and it's been dated for release. Whalefall will take you inside of a whale in theaters on October 16th, 2026. Brian Duffield directs 20th Century Studios' upcoming aquatic survival thriller from a script he co-wrote with Daniel Krauss based on Krauss's 2023 novel. The novel centers on a diver in search of his deceased father's remains who gets swallowed by an 80-foot, 60-ton sperm whale and has only 1 hour before his oxygen runs out. So I've not read the novel, obviously. I mean, I was guessing this would probably be based on a novel, and we've already confirmed twice now it is based on a novel. I'm not sure how this could play out, and I say that from the perspective of, it sounds like it's going to be one of those films, and we've seen this before, and I've mentioned this before, when you have a one-person movie and nobody else. So we could have more people involved, maybe at the beginning of this before he sets out to sea and starts diving and looking, and then the rest of the film is based on him. And horror movies typically last about hour, 30 minutes or so. Your mid-level, low to mid-level, mid-high. If it's like a big studio backed, it's obviously longer than an hour and a half. But I could see this being an hour and a half long. And they spend the first 30 minutes just setting the foundation and tone, and we spend the last hour of him inside the whale based on that premise right there. He only has 1 hour of oxygen left. I mean, how are you going to keep the audience interested? Right? I mean, how are you going to keep them interested in following this story for an hour with this individual inside of a whale for an hour or maybe a little bit longer in attempts to get out? So let's keep going. After giving up on life, the young man is surprised to find a reason to live in the most dangerous and unlikely of places. Austin Abrams and Josh Brolin star with Elizabeth Shue, Jane Levy, John Ortiz, and Emily Rudd. So I would not have guessed those first three names starring in this. So that's a bit of a surprise. The film is described as the Martian meets 127 hours. So I did like The Martian. I mean, that was, if you haven't seen that with Matt Damon, I mean, that was primarily mostly a one-person show, although that we had various cutbacks from what was happening with him, what was happening on Earth, so on and so forth. So it wasn't like the entire movie was just focusing on him and we saw literally nobody else. So maybe they'll do something like that as well, kind of going back and forth. Like people realize he's missing and they're trying to find him. Megan Navarro called Whalefall one of the best horror books of 2023. She raves Krause's brisk-paced novel toggles between survival horror and an internal journey through grief in the most propulsive way possible. It results in the most pulse-pounding fast read of the year. Okay. Going down a little bit more, so we have like a director's chair type thing, Whalefall, and that was Krause's, I think, Instagram. Yeah, Krause's Instagram. And just out of frame is the craziest. Oh yeah, okay, nothing. Okay, we do have. Oh, this must be the cover of the book, which is the same picture we saw up above. New York Times bestselling author, Whalefall. MTV Entertainment Books. Would not have guessed that. And that's it. So yeah, interesting that I was not expecting to see Austin Abrams, Josh Brolin, and Elizabeth Shue tied to this, and they've already started filming. I mean, there's obviously not going to be a situation where, again, this is not going to be released for another year, over a year, where we get 4 or 5 months down the line, we find out, so and so's left the project, and so and so's left the project, right? Sounds like they're already tied down. Contract wise, and if they're already started filming, then we can expect them all three to be in it. So I mean, that does get me a little bit more interested, and based on this review from Megan, where is it at the bottom? I think it was, go back up a little bit, or Megan, if I'm sorry, I think it's Megan Navarro, I apologize for mispronouncing that, where they're saying that this was one of the best horror books of 2023. So I may have to go check this book out, since we have over a year before this film drops, so to see if it's as good as they're proclaiming. So I mean, it's getting, the content itself is getting some good reviews. You got some good names tied to it. So this could be a sleeper. This could be one of those ones where the name kind of gets you like kind of put off, but then when you start getting into the content, into the details, again, this could be a sleeper surprise come 2026, and it's happening in October. And as I've said before, we're always wanting more and more horror films for October. So more to come on this one. But again, we have a little over a year before this hits theaters. So we'll obviously keep eyes on this one. As we know more, as things develop, we'll make sure to talk about it a little bit. All right, so let's move on to the next one. Strange Harvest. Serial killer Mr. Shiny sends a message in a new clip. So this was the one I was talking about, where a new clip was released. I found the clip link here at the bottom, but they also have the trailer link at the bottom as well. So I figure, why not just watch the trailer as well first, and then we'll watch the clip to see if it's an extension. So Mr. Shiny is ready to drill his message into you with the lo-fi clip from Strange Harvest below. The mysterious serial killer is at the center of an otherly world investigation in the follow true crime documentary from Grave Encounters. Writer-director Stuart Ortiz. Opens in theaters next week, August 8th. So this coming week, it's going to open up in theaters. I was just looking at movie listings coming for this week. I didn't see this playing in my area, so maybe they just didn't have it listed yet. I'll double check. But yeah, if it's playing in your area and this is something you want to check out, make sure you do so. A routine welfare check in the San Bernardino suburbs leads to a gruesome discovery. A family of 3 has been bound, bled, and posed below a strange symbol written in blood on the ceiling. Detectives Joe Kirby and Lexi Taylor recognize the symbol as the calling card of a killer from 15 years earlier, calling himself Mr. Shiny, who has seemingly returned to continue his murder spree. It's not long before Mr. Shiny begins leaving horrifying new crime scenes in his wake. It soon becomes evident that the case is anything but routine, and that the murders and their perpetrator may be part of a sinister agenda involving cosmic phenomenon and evil forces from beyond. Okay, so serial killer / supernatural type horror film, maybe. I don't think we've seen those two genres cross each other. Kind of like true crime serial killer meets like a supernatural aspect. So that'd be interesting if that's kind of the the path they're going down. We have names here of who's starring in it. We have a quote here from the director. It is my hope with Strange Harvest to take the audience on a hair-raising roller coaster ride unlike any they've seen before. I think that's a is that a standard line in like making horror movies 101, where it's like that's always, yeah, we get that. That's your intent, but it seems like that's just a rehearsed line from a script that every writer, director says when it comes to a horror film. One that starts with a huge drop and has dozens of twists and turns. Again, it seems like this is a couple lines, like, things to say when you're interviewed about your horror film. I'm going to choose items 5 and 9, put them together, put the name of my movie in it, and there's your quote, right? That's what it seems like. That's how that reads to me. I feel like we've heard this time and time again from just about every horror director, especially new ones that are either newer onto the scene or are fairly new, a couple years into it. Megan Navarro wrote in her review, okay, so apparently this has already been seen. So I don't plan on seeing this one in theaters. It'll probably be a minute before I see this. Strange Harvest brings the creep factor, an impressively gruesome display of crime scenes, and a skin-crawling villain with cosmic. Ortiz pushes the subgenre for. What subgenre though are we referring to? Pushes the subgenre forward with a heady and unsettling immersion into the realm of true crime with a horror twist. Okay, so this is going to be true crime, I guess, primarily. I wonder though what horror twist they're going to give it, because up here, like I mentioned, cosmic phenomena and evil forces, that makes me believe supernatural, right? Whether it's aliens, whether it's demonic, supernatural forces, things of that nature. But yeah, we were just questioning it. It looks like they're going down the true crime path, but trying to give it a horror twist. So, that's interesting to me. Again, I don't think we've seen too many films that go down that path outside of, and I don't know if you would necessarily consider Zodiac, the film Zodiac, with like Jake Gyllenhaal and Mark Ruffalo. I don't know if you'd consider that necessarily a horror film. That is definitely more serial killer, true crime. Now, Seven, with Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, Kevin Spacey, that I think you could make an argument to say true crime, but definitely on the horror spectrum, right? Definitely had a lot of horror aspects to it. So, all right, so let's get back to the top of this article. We're gonna watch the trailer first in case no one has seen it, and then we'll watch the recently released additional clip for this that goes along with this article. So let's jump over to it and see what the trailer looks like.
So we'll start. Mom? Please don't do anything, please. If my parents can pay you anything, please. 911, what is your emergency?
Police department? Hello? Is anybody home?
Authorities continue to urge the public to keep a watchful lookout for a serial killer who remains at large and is extremely dangerous. You seen this?
Now, San Bernardino Police Department should be held accountable for letting it get out of hand like this.
We are begging for you to help us.
Did you make the call, ma'am?
Yes, he's in there with my husband.
He was right there.
Oh my God.
Lizzie?
All right, that was a pretty interesting trailer. That's not at all what I had expected based on what we read. That was, and we've had this, I don't want to say problem, we've run across this before where we've read an article ahead of a trailer and we watched the trailer and completely taken aback about the difference between what I've read and what I've just seen. I don't know if I would consider this one to be found footage, because it looked like there were a couple scenes, especially as the trailer ended, where we were getting like this view of like the woods, and there was one where we in the middle of the trailer where we were seeing like a neighborhood, which was a traditional shot, but majority of this looked like it was either like news broadcast or like body cam footage from like police officers, things of that nature. And then we saw at the very beginning the webcam. So I don't know if maybe that's considered found footage. I don't know if it is, because usually found footage is, the victims themselves are doing all the filming throughout. Oh, and we also saw security camera footage, because there was one scene where we saw someone look like they were behind a counter at maybe a convenience store or like a small little like cafe type restaurant, and the killer walked in and killed them behind the counter and then dragged them away. So, and then we saw someone at the end of the trailer tied to a chair, which that would have been found footage, more traditional, because it was a video camera. They're tied up in that chair. But the vast majority of that trailer, though, was either body cam footage, security footage, or like news report footage. So maybe this does fall within the realm of found footage, but maybe a different twist on it. Didn't see too many traditional filming shots, but this one looked pretty interesting, because it looks like it's going to be more after the fact in some aspects. And then I see the true crime pieces where, again, if we're following the detectives or the police officers trying to track down the killer, and everything's being seen through body cam. So that's a different perspective. All right, so let's pull up the Strange Harvest it's called the Captive clip. That's the title of it. So we'll see what this one is going to show us. So let's pull that one up. So I don't know if didn't seem like it was an extension of the clip, because that scene, we saw some of that in the trailer, but it was very different. He was in the chair, and then we see the serial killer come out from behind the plastic and grab him around the neck, and then the scene changes. But here we see that when he comes to and the lights are on, he's screaming. Then we see the killer walk by in front of the camera and starts like teasing him, like scaring him with the drill towards his temple. And then the scene ends. So I'm not sure if the scene is in the trailer got replaced with what we just saw, because two vastly different things. Because you think if he was jumping out from behind him to then grab him around the neck, I mean, he's ripping down all the plastic and he's pulling him down to the ground. And that right there doesn't seem like that's how that transpired at all, because the lights get turned on and then nothing, and then what we saw is what we saw, right? So I'm wondering if, again, what we saw in the trailer is now being replaced by this clip, because two very different scenes happening obviously in the same spot. So anyways, that's going to do it for this particular piece of today's video for Strange Harvest. Again, this says comes out this week in theaters August 8th. So obviously if it's playing in your area, make sure to, and you're interested in checking this out, make sure to check your local listings, and then come back and let us know what you thought about it. So, all right, we're going to jump to our last story here. As I was mentioning, John Krasinski returning to direct A Quiet Place Part 3 for summer 2027. So we are a ways away. 2 years, little under, about a month under 2 years, but roughly 2 years from this releasing. So let's jump into this and see what we are going to be learning about this thus far. In the wake of two mainline movies, a spin-off film, and a video game, the world of A Quiet Place is set to be expanded even further with A Quiet Place Part 3, and we've learned today that John Krasinski is back to write, direct, and produce the upcoming third installment, and it looks like it's going to come out July 9th, 2027, so just under 2 years before this comes out. Last we heard, the third installment is in the mainline Quiet Place series, would likely continue the Abbott family storyline, with Emily Blunt expected to return for Part 3, but that has not been confirmed at this time. Stay tuned for more. The most recent installment in the franchise was last year's spin-off, The Quiet Place Day One. I did not particularly like that one. I thought it was okay. I don't know if I necessarily think I don't believe every single franchise needs a prequel to it. And when this came out, I think I saw it the first week or second week it was released. Again, it was just okay. For me, it was very mid-level, and I haven't gone back to watch it again. I've had no desire to go back and watch this particular one again. Again, it was just okay. A prequel to the alien invasion saga set in New York City and starring Lupita. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that last name. With just 3 installments, the Quiet Place franchise has made $900 million at the worldwide box office, likely to become a billion-dollar franchise with the upcoming 4th installment. Easily. I mean, I think a third film, if you bring back Emily and you have John doing the writing, directing, producing, I think it could easily make $100 million, no problem. That's going to go without saying. The franchise centers on an apocalyptic invasion of creatures that hunt by sound, with Emily Blunt's Evelyn Abbott surviving both of the first 2 films and living to fight another day. And this is from John Krasinski's, I don't know, I believe this is probably his Instagram account, where he just puts this Roman numeral 37927. Yeah, it is his Instagram account, and that's all he put. No comments, no nothing to go with that, just the picture, and that's it. So yeah, interesting to see that he's going to be coming back, but interesting to see that they're going to be taking 2 years to put this one out. I would think. I mean, you have a good solid year if you release this in early August of next year to get this one done. And I think they could get it done within that time frame. But hey, I mean, no reason to rush it, right? I mean, I don't know if there's too many people out there, breaking the door down to get A Quiet Place Part 3 done. Again, my opinion, A Quiet Place Day One, the prequel, wasn't that great. Maybe that's why they've been holding off on doing anything further, and maybe that's why they're going to take their time with this one and now bringing John back, giving him the time to cook, to write a good story, a good script to them, hopefully get Emily signed back on to return. So all right, everyone, that's going to do it for this horror news update. Again, we have Whalefall coming out in October next year with Awesome Abram, Josh Brolin, Elizabeth Shue, based on apparently what's being said is one of the best horror novels of 2023. We have Strange Harvest coming out later this week. We took a look at the trailer and the captive clip. And here we have John Krasinski returning to write, direct, and produce A Quiet Place Part 3 coming out July 2027. So drop a comment in the comment section. Let us know what you think about any one of these stories. Also, if you haven't done so, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, we'll see you at the next one. Later.